Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another Sunday night live toy chat with my host, DavidWorldToys. Well, tonight I've got another one of our friends just in the background. He's a everything retro collector. I'll let him explain all about himself. Please say hello to a guy called Scott. Evening, Scott.
Evening, Dave. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, dude. How are you this fine Sunday evening, sir?
Really good, really good. Happy to be here. Happy to talk about everything retro, toys, cards, anything. You
Well, at
guys
least
get
it's something. At least it's something different and bits and pieces. So, just for the brand new listeners for the channel, what do you actually collect and what's your main hobbies and that sort of stuff, please?
Yeah. So yeah, Scott Retro Collectibles. So what I collect. So been collecting toys since around 10 years old, maybe before. That's where my memory starts from. So love my toys, Bucky O'Hare, everything like 80s, 90s. So the Bucky O'Hare, Ninja Turtles, Visionaries, Remco Karate Kid, all those toys that just bring back so many memories. Love the artwork. So I collect that. Also collect trading cards. So when you had the buzz of the 90s, I was hardcore collecting trading cards. Continued, and even when everyone stepped out of trading cards, I was clearing a lot of comic shops back stock where they just didn't want it anymore. So a lot of sealed cards have made it into my collection and single cards, and then computer games as well. I like to go in and out of different retro genres only because when the collecting gets too big or there's a lot of people involved in one of the collections, so i.e. comics, computer games, I can just shift in and out of each one and not lose that buzz, the mentality, energy, passion of the collecting.
Perfect. Have you found over the last couple of years the different collecting genres? I know you can now go to a car boot or charity shop and at least find something where, as toy collectors or vintage collectors, it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah. So for me, charity shops. So I do particularly well in charity shops, and I think if you see my Instagram, and Dave, know that you've seen
Yeah.
it, I
Oh,
do all right.
unbelievable.
I've I've actually stuck to my area of charity shops, but I've got to know everyone in there, and it is about building networks and friendships with these guys. And I'm honest with them, so I tell them, look, I collect this. This is what I'm after. They don't necessarily hold anything because it could be a long time till I go back, a couple of days, and they've got budgets to hit, etc. But
Yeah.
as long as I tell them that, if anything does come in or it's coming to the shop, they go, "Oh, I put that out," or "Oh, I've got this," and it just starts that relationship. So I've been quite fortunate. I do really well where I am on blind bags of toys. So
Yes.
I found Hasbro, some Ghostbusters, all in the same bag. So I do really well on that. But I think for the charity shops where I am at the moment in the southeast, especially, their main focus is on clothes and just getting the clothes in, getting that's their bread and butter, how they make their money. So at the moment, fingers crossed, I do quite well with DVDs, box sets, and what I will do with those is I love doing it. And some people say you should sell them for more, Scott. You should keep them. But because of the computer games, I like going into CEX. I like trading them in and seeing if I can get my money's worth in computer games. So it's like
Yeah.
I've got to look at it like I'm playing the stock market, but for computer games. So I build up a part like a bag for life of DVDs, go down to CEX, trade that in. I always take the voucher, and then I either buy something in store or look on their website what's available. And what I believe, so I only go by my own thoughts and views. What I believe, one, that I might need for my collection, or two, I think actually this is going somewhere. I need to jump on this now. So Silent Hill, one of the horror games, being a prime
Yeah.
example, PlayStation 1 a couple of years ago. You're picking up for 20, £30 in CX. It's now up to, I think, 95. So it's things like that where I know they're going to jump. And I honestly think a lot of this definitely driven by, which is fantastic, everything, all the content we see on YouTube, right? You've got the guys
Yes.
over in the States, UK now definitely stepping up. There's a lot more YouTubers. We share experiences on social media. So the whole social media piece builds this more of a buzz and brings us all together as a community. But at the same time, lets us all know what's available. And I think we all rush out, don't we? And go, I've got to have that.
Yeah.
Prime example, Pokemon cards, right? With Logan Paul. When he
Yeah.
started doing stuff with Pokemon cards, you saw a big boom again in Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Well, perfectly honest, it's the same. I asked Nima Studios Nick last week, and he said like he's one of his partner, Slimehouse TV. He did the Robin Hood Sherwood
Yeah,
scene,
Theo.
and his Theo did his like thing. And next then they see Toy Fair, but instead of a tenner a figure, they're up to 20, £30 a figure because everyone
And
wanted them.
I noticed that, and that was a brilliant video. I love that intro that he done on there
Yeah.
as well. we blew it and it just come across. But
Yeah.
100%. So I remember going Sandown and someone was selling the whole collection, I think for a couple of like 100 quid, but it was the whole lot, the variant one with the crossbow. And I was like, that's okay. The next time when I saw it at NEC, I think someone paid like 350 for a set. So it's hugely jumped up. But I think Ed's Geek Out as well, where he done the
It,
whole Bucko hairline, and the same with Pixel Dan, I think it was. They put so
yeah.
much focus onto Bucky O'Hare that again, those figures were 10, 20 pound max. I think now they're going for 65, 70, and it's
Yeah.
crazy. But I think you're in that kind of point now where there's a lot of focus on the toys. The toy community, there's a lot of people look at it as investments as well. And I think sadly we've got into a bit where, you know, especially from a reseller point of view as well, where you have a lot of resellers looking at clothes, bits that are valuable to, you know, ensure they get through their day to day, do their jobs. They now look at toys and they put a lot of focus onto toys because they know there's a sell on value for it.
Yeah. 100%. It's basically. Have you noticed then what's been like the big main point for you? And is it toys gone up, your cards gone up, or you like games gone up?
Yeah, so for me, so 100%. So I originally, when I first started YouTube and when I started anything, I was 100% comics. So for me, comics driven by the Marvel movies,
Yes.
that's, yeah, 100% correct there. The Marvel movies have definitely got a lot more fan base into those Marvel characters, but everyone wants to understand where they've come from, how they've come about, what other characters they've interacted with. So the comics, the prices in comics now are just
Yeah.
absolutely balmy. And I was picking them up. I think the most I would have paid for a key comic would have been £100 plus. And I remember like years ago, I'd be like sweating thinking, I've overspent on a key. And prime example, again, I remember my local comic shops that they've had, and I passed up on these because I thought they were too much. And I look now and
Yeah.
you kick yourself.
Yeah.
They had Avengers #1, 300. That's a few grand now.
Oh,
Daredevil
and the
number.
rest.
So I had that opportunity, but I always thought they'd be there. So I think now, especially with toys, when I see them, I'm like, is that bit too expensive? Well, if I don't jump on it, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss that market. And if I need it for my collection, I'm having to jump in a lot earlier. So definitely comics, toys you're definitely seeing.
Yeah.
I reckon it's in that kind of place now where the prices are just keep going up and up. And especially as we're going into, I think you've got people that would have been, well, had toys in their 90s, what now going to be in their 30s, late 30s.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be trying to buy back bits and pieces now because they've got that additional income. So yeah, I definitely think toys is there. Computer games, everyone to say computer games are gone. I don't think computer games are there yet. I still think it's reasonably quite cheap. You're seeing prices of certain games go up, but I think there's still more to go. And no doubt, as soon as one of these giants, Disney, Netflix, jump on a few computer movies, you look at The Last of Us, and you see the buzz around that. And I've looked at the NECA toys now for The Last of Us because they come out as a limited run. They're like
Yeah.
£100.
Yeah.
It's just balmy.
I know there's a Super Mario Brothers like world and movie coming. Has the
Yeah.
computer game gone up on that? Do you know, because of the hype of it?
So it's a strange one. So I always use CEX as my kind of, I check the prices and I use that as my absolute
Yeah.
knowledge, my Bible. So I have my phone, I scan. And I noticed over the last couple of weeks, they've pushed the prices up on certain games. And the three first Mario games have definitely gone up by 10, 20 quid each. So it's interesting you're starting to see that. And the same now, strangely, we'd all discount PlayStation 2 and Nintendo Wii games at boot sales, or just say, no, you know, they're always in there. You're not seeing that many of them in charity shops anymore. And the prices of those have started to spike. But again, I truly think it's when you get, you know, especially when you start seeing YouTube buzz around it, people buying into it, it's supply and demand. You're going to push that price
Yeah.
up. But I love the
What's
Mario.
perfect?
Love the Mario.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Mario. Back in the day, I was either Sonic guy or Mario. I did have Mario first, but then
Yeah.
as soon as Sonic came out, I went Sonic crazy. I had all the Sonic games originally.
Yeah, I
You know.
absolutely. I was a huge Nintendo fan growing up, and I remember the last toy I had before my parents deemed me too old to buy me any more toys and moved me into like I remember them buying me like Nintendo, N64, PlayStation, but it was the Mario movie figures. Now, some
Yeah.
people will say the film was not that good. Me as a youngster, I was like, this is amazing. They brought my
Oh,
character to life. Loved it. When you watch it back, you're like, oh, there's some big plot holes here, but I loved it. So I remember my mum got rid of all those toys. I've brought them all back now. So I've got them carded. I've got the police car. And then
I seen
weirdly,
someone on Instagram the other day with that police car, and I'm like,
yeah.
if I spotted that at the right price at a toy fair, I'm like, yeah. That it's one of the things with the Mario line. There's only, is it 6 figures in the one vehicle, if I can remember
So
rightly?
there's 6 figures. One, two,
Yeah,
3. Yeah, 6 figures. You've got the car, and then you've got the lab, like the demo lab, which would have turned from humans into like little Yoshi creatures. Now, I
yeah,
never had
yeah,
that. I've only seen that in Italy because I've looked a few times, but it demands the most money, and it comes with a limited figure that didn't come in the run. So I've been able to pick up the figure because some people put it as a Goomba on eBay. So I'll always be, and I'll go into this a little bit, Dave, I'm always on eBay looking for those little where I can pick up little gems.
yeah,
So I found that where he's got more, and you look at the Goomba, and I've got one here because I'll talk about this story as well. But you've got one here where he's got a round head, but the one that comes with the lab, he's got like a Yoshi face, so his face comes out a bit more. But I was able to put that up. But the reason I picked this up, Dave, I don't know if you know about this, if you saw this, but I picked this up for £2.20. And
yeah.
when I originally saw him on eBay, I was like, oh, it's a Goomba. But what's different? It's the jacket. So I was looking everywhere. This is actually, and I won him for £2.20. So the guy was selling his whole childhood collection, like toy by toy, Mighty Max. They're going for big money. This guy went for £2.20. The reason I brought him is the jacket is the Undertaker's from Hasbro. So
Yeah, I thought it was.
yeah, it's the Series 8. So, and it's hard to get the original jacket. So I brought
That
him for
is crazy.
£2.20. And then the jacket will go to my brother because my brother collects the Hasbros. That's the only reason I got it, because my brother's been paying some crazy money for the accessories for the
Oh,
Hasbros, like mental money. Where I'm like, sorry, you've got to stop. And he's like, no, I need it. So
yeah,
I thought the jacket, I'll have to pick him up. But yeah, I've
that is
been,
crazy.
because yeah, there was that, Dave, and then there was one more that I picked up. I've got it here. No, I never knew about this. I found this out. So randomly top trumps.
Yep.
Picking up for £1, but there's a card in here that's worth 200 to 300, which is a rookie card. So I ended up, I bet I don't find
It
it on
was
here now.
especially next week with the Formula One starting next week on Sky again. That looks.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you one thing. I was so tempted to book the Vegas trip to do the Vegas like one for the trip.
oh, was you?
Well, it's the first time in Vegas, isn't it? So it's like the momentum for the first time.
Yeah,
I thought, no, I've got too much on this year, and I've already planned next year. So
this guy.
yeah, Max
So,
Verstappen.
it's his rookie card, no wins. This just it. If you look on eBay, mental money. But yeah, again, I found the whole set in a charity shop for £1, and I thought, and that was only because I was watching other people's YouTube channels that happened. So I know we all say about, oh, there's a lot on YouTube, we don't watch it, but it actually helps you out the other way as well. So yeah, couple of fines.
It's one of the things with YouTube at the moment, even with the new Turtle figures coming out, there are slight differences, especially with the retro Star Wars figures. There's difference between the originals and the new ones.
Yeah.
It's like the Turtles, there's different coloured Turtles. But when you see people, it's like our friend Baz, Dark Liking, he bought a skeletal outfit the other day from AliExpress for £4 or $4. And they said it was vintage on AliExpress. When he got it in, he checked it, and it was like, no, it's the Origins version. And AliExpress was classing it as vintage, and I'm like, it can't be.
Yeah, and this is the thing now. I think with the remakes being quite similar to where the originals were, and hence they're saying they're using the same molds, etc. I think people and 3D printers, right? You can get caught out. I've seen it with the Hasbro community. They're bloody good replicas as well.
Yeah.
In terms of what you can get. But yeah, if you look into the detail, because there's a thing with a little Star Wars, isn't it, from the original Star Wars guns? If you put them in water versus the new ones, one floats and one sinks.
It's still always one question I need to have asbestos and that sort of stuff, because are they just taking Hasbro consideration? Where you've got, like yourself, like you've got a Lily Lady, you've got Meccano, Palatoy, all different countries. Now, a lot of people think they're the knockoffs or not the same molds. If they use a slight different plastic, yes, will it sink or will it float? I don't know.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. I've never thought of that.
Because they're only thinking of Hasbro and that's it.
Yeah.
Or is it, when you know for a fact you can guarantee a weapon, it's guaranteed out your own collection from the original kit? You take it to them, it sinks in a bottle of water. It's fake. I think the
Yeah.
floaty ones, that's one question I need to ask. Are all weapons, even different countries, float or don't float? I don't know.
Yeah, I never thought of that. I just saw it on a Star Wars YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, this I'd have to watch out for this." But yeah, it
It's
makes sense.
technically done in Vectus in the UK company on the TV series called Vectus.
Yeah,
They showed it on there, and even I know a guy had, the blue lightsaber that come out of R2D2?
yeah.
That he had as a kid, an original one, but it sank, not
Uh,
floated. So, and he know for a fact he had it as original. He checked with a few experts, said, no, that's an original. And according to the method, it sank, so which is a knockoff.
yeah.
So
What
technically, I
challenges it?
I really don't know. It's one question. I need to probably ask a few more experts in the future. I don't know.
Get the Star Wars experts on it. Get the Star Wars experts on it.
It's one question I just don't know about. I might message a few people I know that might just ask a certain question. I don't know. We'll see what it goes.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know the answer as well, because I've got a little box of them from where I cleared a house out of vintage Star Wars, and it
Yeah.
come with a box of weapons for Star Wars figures. So that'd be
It's the same
interesting.
with the turtle figures. The original turtle figures, the new ones, are slightly different colours, and the weapons are slightly different colour.
Yeah.
But where people are like on eBay now, all the rest of the country are putting original pictures up and sending you the new versions, it's not right. But what can you do about it?
And this is it.
That's why I'm so glad all the toy fairs now back. You can go, even if it's like 20 quid more, at least you know you're guaranteed. If you make a mistake at a toy fair, it's on your own back, not something else.
And this is the scary thing. If you're a new collector into it, I think that's the bit I'd say you've got to be a little bit cautious about. And I know there's some collectors that buy on cards, take off the card to know that they've actually got the right weapons accessories with that figure.
I think is it Matt Cardona, the wrestler? He's done that with all the Ghostbusters, isn't he? He bought them all originally just to say he's carded. At least he's guaranteed it, and that's it.
Because I'm a carded collector, so I like quite carded. I have to admit, sometimes I'll sit there and I'm like, I don't know why. I have to cover my eyes. I'm like, I can't watch him open it. But when he's done it, I'm like, okay, it's okay. But it's strange.
If he's going into your personal collection and never selling it, it's up to you what you do with your toys. Yeah. It's the same with me at the moment. I'm into the Netflix Masters Universe series.
Yeah.
But where Smiths and Entertainers selling them off at £3 or £4 each, I don't know if to get a second set or wait to the car boot section and find them at the car boot.
Okay.
So at the moment, I'm only missing 2 or 3 items at the moment until they release the new stuff. And that's it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, because they get reduced as well, don't they? Quite quickly there. Is it the Netflix world of stuff in Smiths anyway? Goes down quite a bit because I'm always in there. Once they knock them down, I go in and buy quite a bit.
It's like that series.
Yes, yeah.
It's not the Revolutions. It's the cartoon He-Man Masters Universe wave.
Yeah, I've seen
it's the cartoon version.
I'd have to go back in there soon and take another detailed look around because I usually go in there for the AEW stuff, but last time I went in there, I couldn't see any, so I was in the WWE stuff.
I looked at the AEW stuff, and literally, they've still got Series 1 of Unleashed and Series 6 of Unleashed. The older series. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's tough for us to get it over. So the only person I know who I go to get it if I desperately need a figure now is the Rock and Roll Collectibles.
Yeah.
Because I get it straight away delivered and I know it's there. But yeah, you're right. With the stuff in Smiths, it's tough just to see what's coming in and when.
The only other place I go to, which are online, is a guy called Midco Toy Planet.
Yeah.
And they're one of the official distributors in the UK.
Well, I might try there as well because I've started to go.
Hi, Simon. Simon's in the chat. Hello.
There he is. He's there. I've started to go to some of these I want to say independent companies, but like Cellar Toys. I brought the Ethan Page, and then I brought Dan Housen from Hills and Faces, which is quite a different one, but this sold out pretty quickly.
Oh, it's like the Hasbro, yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of looks similar to the Hasbro.
Yeah,
That's why I like him, and the artwork's pretty fancy on the back. See all the ones they got coming up. So Andre the Giant, Raven,
Raven.
Nick Gage.
God, that's quite a good series, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good little website. So they do sell it. He's just put another order batch on there if you want to get some of the figures. But the Andre the Giant, they've made them to scale as well, so they're taller than the other. And then he come with these little loot bits and pieces.
Whoa.
So it wasn't too bad, to be fair.
No, that's good. I can remember being at the wrestling show, or the wrestling show had all the new figures you can pre-order from Cheddar, I think, and bits and pieces. They were showing them off.
Yeah, some of them are doing a cracking job at bringing out these lines that we either didn't get or wrestlers that we actually want. But yeah, no, happy with that. And then Dave, I know you're like this one. I thought I picked this up for a bargain, Dave, on eBay. Monsters in my pocket.
Yeah.
£30. Buy now. So I had to pick that up. You just don't see it, do you? Just don't see them. Oh.
No, I picked up Boglin's box in Italy. No, I've never seen Cardi like that. I've never.
Yeah, they're just desirable. But yeah, a guy must have put it on. I think it was like a couple of Saturdays ago. Again, I just checked the buy nows and he had it for 30. There's 4 people watching it, been on for an hour, and I thought I'm just gonna have to buy it because it's gonna go more than that. I've seen them more than that.
They're making new cool toys now.
Yeah, he loves it. And then the only other one, Dave, that I did pick up, because I don't know if you saw it. I picked up a carded. But let me get it quickly. I'm going to get it quickly, Dave.
You go.
Because I picked up. This was from the charity shop, and I walked past it. I walked past it 3 times, and I did knock myself when I saw it. It was £20. I've never ever seen a carded Star Wars. And apparently there's some, because when I posted it, everyone was like, oh, it's a variant. It's got something to do with its mouth. But I've just put it on the shelf because look, the card's a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had it for 20 quid in the glass cabinet. I walked past because I never look in the glass cabinet. I don't expect to see anything in there.
Is that original?
Yeah, original. These little blasters in there.
Jesus.
Yeah, because the £20 was over that, so I never realised it had that. I thought, oh my god, this looks good. And I asked them if they had anything else, and they said they had a few Star Wars bits, and this was in there. But yeah, so where is it? Yeah, look, because you've got the. I don't know if you can see that. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, original.
Yeah,
Bargains of quality and monsters in my pocket.
Yeah, I do love monsters. I've got a soft spot for monsters in my pocket. But yeah, charity shop buy for £20. Again, I had to jump on that. I went in that same charity shop today and they had a few they're getting a few statues in, which is strange enough, like Dragon Ball, Star Wars. So I don't know what's going on, but I keep going in there just in case, the off chance. Because I said, have you got any more out the back? Have you got any of these? They're like, no, that's it. What? That's all we've had, and we put it for 20. But they had some dinky cars as well. Yeah, not for me, the dinky cars, so I did leave them.
I know, like recently, one charity shop I went into, they put an old Action Man, 150 quid in the glass cabinet. And I'm like, who's going to pay that? It's not there anymore. It's gone.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous. You know, one of the shops I go to, they used to do cameras, but now do toys. And you know the Red Alien Queen from Lannet?
Yeah.
50 quid loose. Yeah. It's like, it's only 30 quid brand new or 20 quid brand new, you know.
But this is the thing, I think, because the knowledge isn't there, especially, with most charity shops when it comes to toys, if they're looking on eBay, I think some of them end up just going over the top or thinking it's worth more than what it actually is.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the moment, I'm trying to think if anything else, Dave, that I've got a little drawer under here, all my charity shop stuff in.
Technically, your best charity shop, honestly, was probably a couple of weeks ago, Scott, when you picked up all them wrestling T-shirts for £1.
Oh yes,
that just blew my mind. That was just unbelievable.
I couldn't. So I was with my dad, right, and my brother. Obviously, my brother's in the chat. So I was with my dad. My dad, believe it or not, my dad wanted to go out. Strangely, he wanted a walking stick. He needed a walking stick, and he was adamant they're going to be in charity shops. So I was like, right, okay, Dad, I'll take you out for the day. So we went out because I was on holiday from work. We went to quite a few charity shops. I found a Thundercat toy straight away, £2. So I picked that up. And then that was the last charity shop we went into because it was like a last chance animal one. So we went in there And it was strange because what did I pick up? I picked up some. They had brand new plastic roses that wrapped round, and I
Yeah.
thought because I've got like family in cemeteries and that, and it was coming up for Easter, so I brought the whole lot. And they're like, "Oh my god!" So I brought the whole lot of these roses to put in the cemetery. That's the long story of that. Went in, and then she came up to me. She went, "Oh, are you?" It was strange, Dave. Everyone like, she went, "Oh, are you like into gothy stuff?" And I was like, "Gothy stuff?" And then she brought out Puck, but obviously it had the B word down the side. And I was looking at it and I was like, "Oh, okay." I said, "That's wrestling." And she went, "Oh, hold on, I've got more of these rock ones if you want them." Then she brought out Orange Cassidy. Shall I get a few of them, Dave, to show?
It's up to you.
Let me get a few of them. I'll
That
refold
was
them
just.
because I think I've gone through these, Dave, I've gone through it about 8 times because I've folded them, refolded them.
Just to answer your brother's question, if it's carded or loose, I collect both. If it's carded figures, loose figures, I collect both.
Same now. I used to be just carded, but I collect
99%. I normally go out in the shops and find it carded, and then basically I try and hold out for the toy ethic and see if I can find it loose.
Yeah.
That sort of. What does your before you carry on with your t-shirts? What does your brother collect?
My brother's a bit similar to me. So a lot of 80s, 90s toys. He likes the trading cards. Wrestling, absolutely crazy on Simpsons. So he loves his Simpsons. So if I ever get Simpsons stuff, I'm passing over. But the thing he's trying to complete at the moment, Hasbro's. So he's trying to complete his Hasbro's. Hence why he's trying to get these little accessories. And I've got him this jacket. So I always look at, if I see them, I'll pick them up. And I thought other people might have jumped on that because of the jacket, but they didn't. And yeah.
Has your brother got a computer or a phone or anything like that?
No, so Dave, he's gonna hate that I say this, right? So he's literally, and we're gonna tell the story anyway. He had a Nokia, you know, the one that had snakes on it. Do you remember that old Nokia?
Yeah, that class. Yeah,
he's had that for about how long? It's got to be about 25 years. He's had that same phone. He's never gone on to Apple. I got him an Apple phone, literally, I want to say maybe 2 years ago now, and he's using it now. So he's on Instagram. He watches YouTube. But he can't set it. He doesn't know how to set stuff up. I've literally just given him a GoPro as well, so he can start doing videos. And I said, look, I'll upload them to my channel.
Oh,
so he's going to start doing a little bit of YouTube. But I'm trying to tell him he's got to get his act together. Come on, get your act together. Get on there because I keep saying to him, let's do some live chats because he's very different to me. He's more of a little bit. He's got more comedy than me as well.
Well, if you want in the future, if you both want to come on in the future live chat, both of you, let's let us know, and I'll put you both on. That's two brothers.
Yeah. I have to get him here sitting like this, won't I? I have to get him here sitting here. But yeah, I'm trying to. I think the next thing for him is getting a computer and setting it up because he's got a good collection. But it's similar to me, Dave. So he loves it.
So two brothers. So if I put you on big screen, you can show your t-shirts off.
Yeah. So the lady thought these were rock t-shirts. I did tell her they're wrestling. She bought like 12 of them, and then she was like, they're £1 each. And I was like, I don't even know how they've ended up in a charity shop. But you've got the Champion Stampede one there, the Elite, which was a brilliant show. So ended up getting that. You got some indie ones. So you've got our good friend Ethan Page, but when he was in IPWF as Julian, his real name. He got a nice.
He says, "Damn it! I'll anything of the
Moxley." And then on the bottom of it was Brody.
Yeah.
So I was just shocked that they had Lucha Bros. But I don't know who would have handed these in, and they've got all the official tags in them. So I just don't know what's happened, and they don't look like they've been worn.
I can't think of any shops that sell them over here except for like specialty shops.
Yeah, that's why I was shocked to see them because when she had the one, I was like, okay. And then when she said, oh no, there's a pile, and I said, oh, have you got any more? Luke Cage. This is the one she had on, Dave, and this is why I was a little bit. I weren't too sure what she was on about because she was saying it's rock, so she had that one on. We cut out the bottom of it. She had that one, and that's the reason I didn't know what she was on about. And then she brought out the Orange Cassidy, but Joy and
Evil Uno,
Dark Order. But there was this is another. I think this is the Orange Cassidy. Oh, I've left the Orange Cassidy one over there, but it was the white.
I remember that one.
And Derby as well. And you've got that one, which was Jericho first Mox.
Where Moxley won the belt, didn't he?
Yeah, so I was really shocked just to see him in there. And then as soon as I got, my dad's like, "What are you buying that for?" I was like, "Oh, look, they're wrestling t-shirts." And then he's like, "Can I have some?" I was like, "If you're going to wear them, I'll give them to you." And he's like, "No, I'm not going to wear them." I was like, "That's it," because yeah, I'm not even too sure what I'm going to do with them yet.
To be perfectly honest, those are at least 15, 20, 25 quid t-shirts, easy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and then yeah, pound each.
yeah,
So I was really happy with those. And I'm a huge AEW fan anyway.
yeah.
So when they were coming out, I was like, "Any more?" And then she brought out some Star Wars t-shirts, but they were from Asda because they had the George logo in there. And I was like, "No, I'm okay with those. I'll get those." So it's just strange. I was literally just in the right place at the right time, and she thought, for some reason, I don't know why, she thought that they were Rock t-shirts, and that's what I wanted. To be fair, I would have
Well,
taken me a Rock
if one of
t-shirt.
them was the Rock, if one of them was had the Rock on, I'd understand it. But there you go.
Yeah, I don't know where she got it from. And she went, "Oh no, we've had a pile of them." And I thought she was going to come out. You know when they usually say that there's like one or two, but she's come out with like 12, and I was like, "I'll take them all."
Yeah,
So yeah,
that
I
is.
felt
Just,
I had a really
I'll
good
still
day.
say that's going to be your bargain of the year if you just get that. Except for your
Yeah,
like cards you picked up in that pack, the Max Verstappen card.
yeah, I was, and again, it's only because I love YouTube. I watch everyone. I may be silent in the chats, but I even watch these kind of chats. Toy Division, yourself,
Yeah,
Shabby when he does his. I watch them all during the week. So I'm just,
yeah.
and it's fantastic,
Talking
right?
about
It's
Shabby, Shabby's got one on tonight. He's
has
like
he?
doing his five nights. He's on right now,
Oh, I see. I
which I'm
must have.
like, I
Yeah.
even said to Shabby, if you had told me, I'd have put mine on at 9 o'clock or something. I didn't even know. I only messaged you because basically I've got like a fatal five-way next week for next Sunday chat.
Have you?
It's like 5 big people coming on for next
Yeah.
Sunday chat. So,
Oh, that'd be good. I'll
so,
definitely.
so there's like a five. It's either be a 5 or 6 way.
Yeah.
Basically, because the week after, I don't know if you know, Stu from Universal Toy Collectors, a year old,
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
and
you're
in
doing something
literally,
special.
and I said to Stu a couple of weeks ago, says, come on the week before you do your live stream, because he's doing like a live stream for 24 hours,
Yeah,
three
I did.
o'clock Saturday afternoon, all the way till 3 o'clock Sunday.
Yeah.
For like, there's all people across the world coming onto his YouTube, and it's all his the charity in Florida.
Yeah. He was saying about this on another chat, wasn't he? About
Yeah,
because I
he's been
watched it.
on quite a few. It's
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
basically, I think it's like it's a charity. It's a charity in the where the Last Wish kids want to have a holiday or something in Florida
Oh, yeah.
or
Right.
bits and pieces, and it's something on them lines. But I know Stu's coming on next Sunday
Yeah. I
again
meant.
for the, and he's basically doing the whole kit and caboodle for the year. So
Oh, best of luck. I'll definitely tune into that. Yeah, we were saying about NEC earlier. So it
yeah,
will be our first time going to. Me and my brother will be going to NEC in April. First time going. I'm
I'll be
so
there at the NEC. I've already got my stuff sorted out for the NEC and bits and pieces.
yeah. It feels like it's ages away, but it's going to come pretty quickly, right? We're in March next
Yeah,
week. I think April's just and I know we discussed this earlier that April is such a busy kind of
it,
retro month. Because I think you've got
it's only like 6, 7 weeks to go
yeah,
to the NEC.
yeah. See, I've got NEC. I think the week before, like we said, we've got Star Wars Celebration. I'm at,
The
and
week
then
before that, basically, you got 1st of April, and the second you got Liverpool Comic Con.
yeah,
The week after that, you got Solar Celebration, which is Easter weekend. You've got then start NEC Toy Fair.
yeah,
The week after that, I don't think there's much on, but there is probably is. But then coming up to the big London Comic Con down in
yeah.
London.
And London, and you've got the London Card Show on as well at Sandown after that NEC the week
Yeah,
after. Uh, and yeah,
I
like you,
absolutely love the NEC. One, I told Scott earlier, it's only like 10, 12 miles away from me. Two, as long as I've been going there for like 25, 30 years, I've seen the evolution of the show.
yeah,
And literally, the show, it's still one of the best shows for vintage and retro toys, possibly in the UK. I'm not going to say abroad because I've been to Italy and that sort of stuff, and literally they beat the UK show, perfectly honest. Um, but technically, it is unbelievable. The NEC is still the best show. I'm quite glad they kept it going.
Yeah, because it looked like just before Christmas it was going to be the last one.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I can't go, I'm working. And I was absolutely gutted. Then it looked like, I don't know, for some reason it's back on. And I'm like, actually, this is better because I can come in a new year now. It's one.
Technically, the original story was, before we carry on, the end of the NEC Toy Fair, the contract was up.
Oh, fine, at the
And
NEC.
and literally, there's only 2 shows left at the NEC, maybe one now, that you get free parking at the NEC. It's the only show left of free parking instead of 15, 16 quid.
Oh, right, okay.
It's been going on the longest show. That's why it's free parking. Because that's how you read it in the contract when it first started, free parking at the NEC. Because this new group took it over, they said, no, we want everyone to pay parking.
Yeah.
They've also put the whole rent up as well for the whole hall and everything else on top. He was looking at like 6, 7 figures just to do the hall. And the guy said, no, enough is enough. He was like 16 quid for a car park. It was going to cost £10, £12 just to get in.
Yeah.
The dealer places would have gone up to 100 quid. And they said no. So technically, they went back to the show, said, come on, let's do a deal. Let's do two toy shows. And that's how they've done it.
Yeah, fine.
You know.
Interesting. Yeah, because you need the free car park because it's the same. Well, the only other big toy fair I go to, well, I've been to is Sandown. I go to a lot of the small ones. But again, I'm just in and out because they're not to the scale that I've seen at Sandown. But NEC looks larger scale than Sandown. So I'm really looking forward to it. Really.
Well, it's 550 tables at NEC and 500 at Sandown.
Yeah.
They say.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it. I get excited, Dave. This is how I was at the card show. So I think 2 weeks ago, it was my first time at the card show. And me and Simon was overwhelmed by how much, because it's something new and you've not been something before. You feel like I just felt like a kid again. You're just running around looking for stuff and then going, oh my God, I remember that. And I know I'm going to get that kind of feeling at NEC.
Honestly, you don't get many cosplays at this NEC show at all. The only NEC you get.
Yes. You should have told him yes.
The only ones I've ever seen, I've seen one Batman working around, a couple of Stormtroopers, and that's it. It's not a cosplay. There's no guests, there's no signings, there's nothing there. But you still get some of the big toy collectors turning up there. That sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, it's one I'm looking forward to, and it's just meeting people as well, Dave. Because I haven't met.
Yeah.
I think Retro Ghetto goes. I haven't met.
Yes.
Theo before. Obviously, I've met everyone from Toy Division, and no doubt
Theo normally goes if he gets a lift. That's the only problem with Theo.
Yeah.
If he get a lift, he's there. If not, he can't. So, got a question for both of you. Back in the time, your best toy from the shop you. Honestly, to answer Simon's question, for me, my best times, the dark times. Without the internet, you can't see what's coming out or what you didn't see at all. I prefer the dark times because you literally go to a toy shop, you can look at the back of the packaging and say what else is coming. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And perfectly, I still love the dark times now.
Yeah.
You give me the dark times over the New York Times now. My earliest things, I remember Hamley's closed down in Birmingham. The figures were 50 pence each, and the Millennium Falcon was a £5, brand new. You know, I grew up on Star Wars, G.I. Joe, and then moved on to the 80s, like 90s Power Rangers. Everything is ridiculous. So there you go.
Yeah, see, mine similar. So I used to, obviously before the internet, showing my age a bit, but I used to love going into shops like Woolworths, and you'd get your stuff like Mighty Max that you wouldn't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
I remember for me, the one that always stood out, because I used to get £5 pocket money a week, and I used to be allowed to walk to the shops in Catford, and they had pound stretchers. And pound stretchers, believe it or not, and people go, what pound stretchers had that back in the day? But you had Ninja Turtles in there. And I remember you'd have the one could swim, one could turn on its back, and they were like £2 each. But I remember seeing this whole wall of Ninja Turtles, but it was the first time I could actually buy what I wanted to buy. And then, like you say, you'd look on the back and go, oh, where's that one? And 9 times out of 10, it might not be there, but you'll look out for it next time. So it's the excitement of the hunt and the buzz just for getting it. So Ninja Turtles for me always that's what kind of, well, hero turtles for us, but that's kind of what got me into it.
Hi,
Loved
Andy.
it. Hi, Andy.
If
And
that's
then,
the Andy Cook I'm thinking of, he's like a big wrestling collector and that sort of stuff as well.
yeah, you got
He
any
used to
sort of,
do. He used to do the toy shows, collecting figures and bits and pieces. So,
yeah,
and then, yeah, sometimes when you see stuff on the internet now, will it come out in the UK? Will it not? Do
yeah.
you take the toy gamble? Do you not? It's one of the things, isn't it? It's
And I
like,
think, sorry, Dave,
you
go
know,
on.
it's like one of the things that you said to me. You walked into a charity shop and found all the AEW T-shirts.
Yeah,
95% people would say you're a liar.
yeah, 100%.
You would never have guessed it in a million years, would you?
Yeah. Even like that Star Wars figure, Dave, that I
Yeah,
said, oh, I found a 1983 in a glass cabinet, 20 quid. And hence, I guess technology is good in one way. You shouldn't have to prove yourself, but you take a photo, or like me, I go around with a GoPro, right? Doing it for my channel.
yeah,
So I do charity shop hunting. And I think even when people see me at a boot sale and I've gone through a bag and you find G1 Transformers and they're like, what the hell? But it's like, I get more excited now that I can go, look, it's still here as well.
yeah. At least you
And
can prove it to people. He's done it, and it's crazy. It's like even so, your brother said, yeah, Dark Times is still one of the best times it took. At least in the back of the cards, 90% of the stuff of the cards came out.
Mhm.
You know,
And this is where you get caught out as well, Dave, because it's like me, especially with the AEW. I'm not too sure what's going to come over. So sometimes I get drawn into, do I need to pay a bit more just to ensure that I've got it versus it coming over? Now, years ago, we would have just been waiting for it to come in your
yeah,
Woolworths, come into Power Stretchers, come into Smiths, and we'd just be going out. Toys R Us, you could be going out looking for this stuff. But now we have to, like, actually, if I want it, and it's the same with stuff going into Forbidden Planet even. Sometimes you can't get it unless you pre-order.
yeah. I
And
know
Prime,
for AEW and wrestling figures, most of it's the girls that don't come out, or
yeah,
the big ones and that sort of stuff. It's luckily the only good thing with the internet, you could still look on Smiths and say, here is Elite 63 or what is it, 93 now or something,
mhm,
or AEW, you can see what's missing.
yeah,
It's the same with like Midco Toy Planet because they're official distributors in the UK for AEW. You can see what's coming and what's not. And occasionally they do get like the rare ones in, very
yeah.
rarely.
I'll have to take a
It,
look on their page because they've got a couple of shops, haven't they, as well?
yeah.
Yeah, I have to look online and take a look because
But to be
yeah,
honest, it's still 20 quid £20 with free shipping on the internet. So what, you know,
can't go wrong.
no, it's crazy
But yeah, and then have you got anything coming up, Dave, that you're going to? I know you're going NEC. Is there anything else?
to be perfectly honest, no, I've got the NEC toy fair which I'll be going to and looking. I know I'm helping our friend down at MCM London.
Yeah. Okay.
He's I help him do his comic book, so roughly I know about all the comics. He's got all the graded stuff with him and that sort of stuff. Even they've put the table money up completely again this year. They've moved him. He's one of them to
Yeah, you don't want
even
to
that
be.
I can see when they can when they announce like a movie, it's like coming soon,
Yeah.
or the new Marvel. It's got the that new Marvel evil character. What's his name
Oh,
now?
Frank. Yeah.
Krang. He's like the last show. He's like, have you got Krang coming? Have you got the Batman '89 stuff, the old Batman stuff already? Because the Batman's in the new Kenneth, the new Flash film.
Yeah.
Anything that's got coming soon from Marvel, especially in comics, people are asking for it, and you just can't keep it on the boxes. It's ridiculous.
And this is what I was saying to you about the comics, because years, obviously, when I was that was the stuff I was passionate about. That's the stuff I've been at the beginning. I was Scott's comic collectibles before retro, because I was dipping in and out. But I love the comics. But because of everything coming out, everyone jumps on it either as an investment, as a flip, or
Yeah,
collectors, and there's just too much demand for what's left in the market, so it drives that
yeah,
price up. So yeah, I've had that's the only reason I've been dipping in and out. But I used to collect keys religiously and then say, actually, I'm going to go back and I'm going to finish that line.
yeah,
Werewolf by Night was one. I think I might have said it last time I was on here. I said that I wanted to do Werewolf by Night and Tomb of Dracula. Now, Dracula's got a movie coming out. It's hard to get those issues now. Werewolf
Yeah.
by Night on Disney Plus. As soon as that went on Disney Plus, I've got the keys. I can't get the first couple of issues because people have just gone balmy for it. Absolutely balmy.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
So it's yeah, it kind of puts me out. And it takes a little bit of that passion away from the comics. And I keep saying I hope it dies down, but with the amount of movies that are getting rolled out and the amount of phases, new characters they've got to introduce to keep that stuff fresh in
It's like
everything.
when they announced Miss Marvel, the amount of Miss Marvel's going out.
Yeah,
They announced one. They just announced Howard the Duck, and it's like, okay,
yeah,
Howard the Duck was flying out. But yeah, the comic book. As soon as they announced anything to do with any comic book or it's coming into the Marvel universe, our friend just gets them in. He can even double and triple his prices, and people will still pay because they want it that badly before it goes even ridiculous.
yeah. Well, I've got my brother coming up to me Tuesday for the simple thing. So I've got everything in here, but my loft is full. And I said to him, look, I'm going to dig out some comics because of how balmy the prices have gone. I'm like, actually, do I, I would have only been paying 10, 20 quid for comics that are in the hundreds, some
Yeah,
thousands now. And it's like, actually, do I, enjoy myself and get other bits and pieces for my collection and get rid of those bits and pieces? Because the prices are, yeah, they're pretty sky high.
yeah. The perfect thing is our friend goes up and down the country and spends. He just buys up ridiculous amount of comics, and all
Yeah,
he wants is a couple of slabbed ones or a couple of graded ones, and he's
yeah,
happy. He buys the whole collections. It's ridiculous, you
yeah.
know.
It's big money in it, big money. And
Yeah,
especially in the slabbing, because you talk about the slab, you've got the comics get slabbed, don't they? You've got games that are now
fig.
being slabbed, figures are being slabbed, because I think I've got a few, but you can also buy the cases so you can still take them out if you want. So
Yeah,
get those. And then you've got cards. So the grading for cards as well, trading cards. So yeah, it's a huge market and people look at them as investments now as well, don't they?
yeah,
They'd rather have that than the antiques, I guess, that we grew up with our parents where they were buying, Royal Dalton and stuff like that. I think now it's
yeah.
everyone seems to be in this retro kind of collecting because it's well,
It's like back to the big, like you say, back to the beginning of the chat. Do you think the big toy companies actually test the weapon out before they grade it, or not, or just put it in?
oh yeah. I wonder if they do if they just put it in. I wonder if they just put it in for the demand, maybe.
If you send a figure down to a grading company, does it? Yes, I know. Toy Ploy sent two figures down, the same figure, smashed it open, send
Yeah,
it back down.
yeah,
And it's like different grade. I remember once I looked at a comic book, and it was a 9.5, and it literally the comic the in the sleeve had like slightly shifted. You could see it; it wasn't straight, and he graded
yeah.
it at 9.5. I'm like, no chance.
There's loads
Ridiculous.
There's loads of videos on the grading from comics where people actually do it. They smash it open and they might get it pressed clean because a lot of people now,
Yeah,
especially our local comic shop, do it as well. So everywhere you go, you've got certain people that are just do pressing, and all it is, which I didn't realize because I was like, oh, I might get one myself, is a t-shirt press,
yeah,
and you put special paper top and bottom, and you just leave it in there for. Well, then I wouldn't try it with some decent comics to begin with, but they've got like 4 machines going at once to flatten these comics, send them off to grading, get a better grade, and it's like actually people are understanding how this whole the grading at these certain firms work. Because there's
yeah,
interesting ones around about the trading card community at the moment. I watched a few short videos, not massive followers, but they're like, it's definitely going to come back a 5. It's got a massive crease in it. It comes back a 9, and he's like, oh, how's this come back a 9? There's a massive
yeah,
crease down the card, and I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, actually, that's a good. So yeah, it's interesting how this works.
Yeah, one of our friends in like the Birmingham City Centre, Oasis Market, he does Game HQ.
Yeah,
He's got a website and that sort of stuff, buys cards in. And some of the old Blue Eyes White Dragon are like 60, £90 now a card. And I'm like,
yeah. Well, I've still got all my original Pokemon cards, but I just can't. I can't send them to grading because it's not how I got them. It feels strange, but I have to admit I've started buying some of the other newer cards, and I've sent two. So at the moment, I have sent two off to. Is it MGC? Now, if
yes,
the next toy fair, if you haven't seen it already, Dave, I'm starting to see a lot of toy vendors now bringing graded cards to
yeah,
these toy shows. Even if they're wrestling stuff like, hence why we're
yeah,
getting in a lot. Well, I've got loads of wrestling cards that need to come down. But I've noticed there's a lot more graded cards turning up now at toy fairs. But this company, MGC, I've sent two. I gave them 2 cards last week when I was at the card fair. I want to see how the process is. I think it worked out £12 a card. I should have done the membership, or you sign up for a membership. It's £30 a month, and they grade 5 cards a month for you for that 30 quid. So it's like, actually, it's not too bad. So I think you're going to start
No,
seeing a
that's
lot of
pretty decent.
MGC grading cards out, because there's a lot of people, even people that are selling, are saying, actually, this is a bit of a lifesaver for my stall or for my shop. A lot of, especially resellers, when you watch resellers channels, because of the amount you're paying, that when they come back, some of them are selling for 50, 40, 50, 60, sometimes a couple of hundred a card, and they're only charging what they're charging for grading. So that's a good little markup for resellers, etc., or people that have got stalls.
Yeah. To answer your brother's question,
Yeah.
it all depends what you collect on that. It's like your two things for your Holy Grail. I split it into two. I do have a few Holy Grail items in my collection, but if you don't collect it, it's pointless.
Mm-hmm.
The other way I literally do the Holy Grail to me, it's not the most valuable item to me per se. It's how sentimental value it is. It's like the original Talking Elf, which I had as a kid. You know, that's my like Holy Grail as well. I've got original 84 Super Ted next to me as well.
My brother loves Super Ted. He's got one where it undoes its like its fur and it's Super Ted underneath.
That one,
he's gonna say to you, he's gonna say he loves Super Ted.
1984. I remember having that as a kid. I've got it on a video. That I had it at one of my birthdays. I was on holiday and our mum and dad dropped it off to me on my birthday.
Oh,
And that's
nice.
one of the videos with like a few other little bits. But that's, that sort of stuff. So,
see, my Grails date. So for me, Grails for me. So I haven't got, and I've said this since I first kind of started YouTubing. I always wanted. Oh wow, £1 for Bart Gunn in a
yeah,
box. That's a great find.
yeah.
Great find. But mine's the Shogun Godzilla. But you
Yep.
don't see it over here with a firing fist. Now I don't care if it's not in the box. I'd like all the toes, and I'm not even. People are going to say no, you need it. I wouldn't even mind if the neck little levers broke, because I just want that toy. So I've got some of the Shogun Warriors, and I've been lucky enough to pick them up weirdly on Facebook Marketplace. But it's that, and then my other grails. And Dave, we go to a show, and you're like, never seen that before. I want to
Yeah.
pick that up. For me, that's something special. So I've got something here. I picked this up from the card show, but it's something like this. It's like I've never seen this before. It is Pokemon, but it's like a shop display of. Oh, and the lights on there, the Mario. It's a shop display of pin badges from the 90s,
Whoa.
from
That's weird.
Korea. So I've never seen it before. I've asked other people.
No?
They've not seen it, but it's stuff. I love stuff like that, where it's little shop displays, and even the shop managers be very strange when I go into shops like retro shops, because I walk around and I've got another piece here, which is my light, but I'll show you this, Dave, as well. I'll walk in and I'll go, oh, how much is that? And they go, I've never thought about that. It's not for sale. But I always love advertisement. So I've been able to put loads of comic advertisement, like the big cardboard cuts that would have been sent into shops. Image when it first ever started. I was in a gaming shop a couple of months ago now, and I saw this it says 92. It's the Mario light, so it's the display light for the store.
Yeah. I remember them, yeah.
It's a 92, and I just picked this up. I was like, I need to have it. And he ended up selling it to me. He didn't know if it worked, but it did work, because I got the light and everything in there, and I just have that as my light now behind my laptop. But it's that I love the shop display stuff, the stuff that was quite quirky and you don't see anymore.
I've got a load of shop, all like Hasbro catalogs from the dealers.
Oh, I love that.
Like the dealer catalogs from Bandai, Hasbro, and a few other back in the day. Bandai, and I absolutely love it.
Have they got the Dragon Ball figures in there? You don't know,
obviously,
I don't, because I've gone massively again. Theo's mostly started this because Theo's watching the Dragon Ball once a week. But I loved Dragon Ball as a kid. I've got the DVDs. I've even got the video CDs where I had to go to Chinatown. But I used to collect the battle guides, Dragon Ball. I have got a few, Dave, because I've started picking them up.
Is it the Bandai or Jack's ones?
No, Bandai. So I only collect the Bandai because I remember them as a kid. So I've got Trunks, and then I've picked up Goku.
Bandai. Yeah, Bandai.
Absolutely love them. But look, they don't come up that often.
No.
So I'm hoping I see some of these at NEC. That would be great. But yeah, I love these. I remember them as a kid, and these are the ones that would have stood out to me, and even the back. So yeah, just the ones that I do like, those ones. Bandai was good, and then Hasbro. I used to love the Hasbro catalogs because you'd always see figures that weren't even ever
Yeah.
produced. Right? So Bucky O'Hare was one of them. I don't know Visionary. I don't think they were Hasbro though. I don't think they were Hasbro.
Visionaries Playmates or somebody else, I think it was.
They
Globe
had
or something.
they had a second series, didn't they? It just wasn't even
Yeah.
produced. But you look at them pictures and you're like, this would have been
It's
amazing.
weirdly enough as well. It's like I say to a few of our friends, and it still gets me now. Americans will show everything off.
Yeah.
UK are getting better, but technically, if you went to Europe, the amount of stuff they don't show off was unreal. Do you know, like Rambo, the Rambo action figures from Globe?
Yeah.
We had Series 1 and Series 2.
Yeah.
Series 3 got released in Europe, and we never seen them.
Is that because because there was no kind of hype for it anymore, or there was no demand that they just pushed it into Europe, or is it just
I don't know. I think it's just the internet these days. You can find the figure realm and that sort of stuff with all American stuff.
Yeah.
And I've got stuff on myself that's not even on the American stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've got it in toy, so how can it be? You know.
Strange. And this is why I like the internet, you know, the talking. You find a lot more of this stuff out.
Yeah.
Where they or just attract, because social media is amazing, right? There's pros and cons to it, but this kind of stuff where you can find out what's where or what got released. Yeah, I do love watching the stuff that wasn't produced, where you've got certain YouTube videos on it.
I can remember once, was it chasing 80s toys, the 80s guy in Florida?
Yep.
He like spotted a figure in a job lot, and he was like a prototype figure, and there's only 2 people knew it was a prototype in a job lot. It was a crash test dummies. I think it was the kid. It was a prototype of the kid, and it was. Everyone says, "Why is it going this much?" No one can understand it, but 2 people realised, and that's it.
Yeah, that's all you need. There's someone in. I don't want to blow because I can't remember their name, but I saw someone years ago in Toy Division, and they used to work at Hasbro, and he said that they actually made and produced a Bucky O'Hare because he had them and he sold them years and years ago to a collector. Obviously, no one would know about it, but he sold them. And I was like, "Did you have any pictures?" And he was sending me over pictures, but he didn't have any of the Bucky O'Hare. He sent me over Mighty Max, what wasn't produced and stuff like that. And I was like, stuff's amazing. But I don't know why Hasbro, they're bringing out all this stuff, right? From what we wanted back in the day. You see the WWE wrestlers, well, WWF Hasbro stuff now that we wanted. I don't know if they take a little bit of a, especially with the Bucky O'Hare, the stuff that wasn't released. And I don't know if it's because they don't think the demand's going to be there. But I'd love them to bring out something like that, the figures we didn't get.
It's based, I think, down to the cartoon. There's no cartoon or nothing to do it. And the problem is, I think with Bucky O'Hare, they might have sold the license to Boss Fight Studio, because Boss Fight Studio released their figures.
Yeah.
I don't know. That could be one of the reasons. I don't know.
Because I'm gutted. I would have loved to have had those figures. And the same with the Visionaries. The additional Visionaries.
I can remember, like, back in the day, the Action Figure Toy magazine, there's a couple of toy magazines back in the day.
Yeah, I still get them now. I still get them now.
Yeah.
So if anyone, and in terms of, I still get the old ones, because the comic collectors, they get them in massive lots when they buy comics, and they're like, I don't want these toy ones, and they send them to me. Like, I always say, yeah, they want £1 I'm like, yeah, I have that, and you're looking through them. You see like the DC, what is it, superpower toys and stuff like that. Yeah, I love all that.
And then sometimes he says, "Oh, these only got released in Europe." I was like, "Okay, we've got some of them," and it's crazy. I think that eventually, it always comes down to the license. It's like they've been teasing masks for the last 10, 15 years. But the problem is, no one knows who's got the license anymore. But I think by the look of it, I think it's Hasbro's got the license. But when they've got that many other licenses they're looking after, can they make it all? I don't know. But, it's crazy. So, well, Scott, we are actually coming up to that 1 hour time and bits and pieces.
Yeah.
I know you've probably got work tomorrow. You got your brother coming round and a few bits.
Yeah, got work, and then I've got my brother. I'm off for part of the week, so my brother's come around on Tuesday. We're going to sort the loft out. He wants to do it as a reminiscence, so I've said he can have my GoPro if he wants, and he can film as we're doing it. Because there's loads up there. I've got Boulder Hills up there. I would have put loads of toys, but there's loads of trading cards, posters. There's everything retro related up there.
Oh,
I've just did it.
well,
So
can't
I'm
wait to see some pictures from that. So technically, what else you got coming up on your channel? Anything you want to plug for the next couple of minutes, Scott?
Yeah, so for me at the moment, so it's been quiet over the winter because I didn't want to just put stuff out and be like I'm putting out for the point, like just for putting something out once a week. Now that does help the algorithm. I'm not going to lie because I've seen it when I put videos out. But thank God that my boot sales are coming back next Sunday. So next Sunday I will be at a boot sale, and it's the big boot sale as well. I can't wait to go to that and see what I've got in store for this season. In terms of, is there going to be more collectors out? Is there going to be more resellers? I love all that bit, but it's the thrill of the hunt and not knowing what's coming. So boot sales are definitely coming. You've got the Star Wars celebration that I'm going to on the 7th, and I'll be filming there. And then NEC 100% I'm going to be filming. And so that's for April. And then at the back end, I'm going back out to Isle of Wight again. And I love going to Isle of Wight. There's so many retro shops that just do everything in one place. The island's just covered with them. And you wouldn't think that for Isle of Wight. But there's loads of these retro shops, people that have cleared storage units, which is strange. Well, they call it the mainland over here, but they'll be clearing out storage units in Southampton, Portsmouth, and then bringing it back over to these shops. And I've never really filmed in them, so I want to do some filming this time because there's stuff like even so retro related. It's like Nike Airs that would have come out years ago, like in the 80s, that they've got in there, film posters, toys, and you're like, how have they got all this stuff? So I want to film that, and I love going to the boot sales there as well, because I think last time I went, I found Ulysses curtains. What did I find? Star Rangers bed cover, and then some Rock Lords. Strange. It's just strange what you find at their boot sales.
And then you've got no chance of getting them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Definitely.
We'll definitely need to get you back on in the future. Talk about your Isle of Wight, how you find your shops, and that's sort of what goes into your side of like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So anything else you got coming up, or where can we find you again, Scott?
So sorry. So on Instagram, this is strange, David. I should be better at this stuff. So on Instagram, I'm still Scott's Comics and Collectibles. And on YouTube, Scott's Retro Collectibles. So I try to put a video out once a week. And it could be me where I just go through bits and pieces I picked up from charity shop. I try and put some photos in there. But mainly the stuff on my channel will be the live charity shop hunting, the live boot sales, and then when I'm at toy fairs or conventions. So I just like to bring everyone on that journey and open up the community, right?
Yeah, perfect.
Excellent. But no, thanks for having me as well, Dave. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
The only thing is I don't shut up. That's it. I love this stuff too much. And now I
absolutely love it myself, so.
Yeah.
Well, technically, all I've got coming up, I've got the next 3 or 4 days of Star Wars to finish the Star Wars month off.
Yeah.
And then March, I'm going to try something a bit different on my channel, which I'm going to release a short and a long video. So 2 videos, back to 2 videos a day of collections I've bought in, like toy hauls, or like that sort of stuff. So you can have a short, see what's quickly in there, but then an in-depth look of showcase like I do will be the longer videos. And I'm starting that up in March.
Yeah, that'd be
so
great.
That's all coming up. I've got a few other bits planned for March, and I've got to build in a few sets. I'll say next Sunday night we've got a fatal 4 or 5 way of toys collectors coming on, ready for Stu's big mega week 24-hour live stream for his charity.
Yeah.
I'll be on that as well. I'll be helping Stu out on a couple of times on that as well. So that's all me coming up, and you can find me on DavidWorldToys on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and there you go.
And you're almost at 1,000, Dave, right?
931, and I'm at 500,000. I'm at 500,000 views, just over 500,000.
That's amazing.
I've literally done 300,000 views in a year. So literally, I did 812 views per day.
Yeah, that's good.
And I've almost done like 800 videos in the last year.
Yeah. Oh, well done.
Since I started, I still haven't yet missed a day doing YouTube. I've put at least a short or something out. I'm planning on my next adventure trip, I call them, my big adventure.
All right. Are you saying where you're going, or it's a secret at the moment?
I'll be
Secret.
probably looking at probably Spain next year, but I'm going to do Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, Costa
I
del
need.
Sol, and other places around that, like a big Spain.
Yeah.
So I know where all the tourist shops are, and I know what I'm looking for in the flea markets. So I know
Yeah.
what I'm looking for.
I'd be interesting to watch that because I'm always over, right? Because of where I work. I used to be out. Well, I'd always be out in Murcia, Valencia, and Almeria.
Yeah.
So that'd
So
be
I'm
like,
still planning at the moment. This year, I'm still like paying our mum back from our America trip and a
yeah,
few other bits. End of the year, I'll probably end up going to the Italy Toy Fair, which I absolutely love. I'm meeting a few guys over there, the big collectors, and hanging out with them. And then next year, I want to get to Belgium as well, because the Belgium Comic Con, where Ed's Retro Geek goes.
yeah. I've watched them a few times, and I'm amazed the amount of toys they have there. And I think the prices are quite reasonable. Even so,
Yeah,
you think they're quite high for what we pay in the UK. I think their toy prices are reasonable.
yeah, 100%. I'm trying to get more Europeans and bits and pieces, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few other bits I got planned for the channel and a few other bits like that. So
Oh, good time. I'm looking forward to it, Dave. And then you'll be at that
all I
1,000.
want to,
100%, you'll be at that 1,000.
well, I'm getting like 6-10 subscribers per day.
Yeah.
So just before we go, hello Gap After Dark, how you doing? Bits and pieces.
Hello.
I want to say thank you again for Scott Mills, your brother, is it?
Yep. Simon. Yep, he's on there. Hiding
Andy
away.
Cook, and then the other 7 to 10 people that's been in the background of the chat. Please stay safe, keep well. Hope it all goes well. Don't forget to share, like, and comment on the videos. Also, I'll put Scott's information in the chat as well. Guys, stay safe, keep well. Fatal 5-way next Sunday special. Enjoy the rest of you guys. Scott, stay there for 30 seconds. Thanks again for everyone.
Cheers. Bye.